Hi there, my name is Andrew Weiler from strategiesinlanguagelearning.com. I'm here today to talk about language classes. I've been asked quite a few questions about it of late, so I thought it'd be good to put down a few ideas here. So language classes definitely have a place. They have had for a long time and will continue to have. There are definitely some benefits it can bring to language learners, but also there are some possible dangers attached. So I want to look at both sides today. On the one hand, clearly at the school level they're compulsory for many kids, so there's no way of actually avoiding them if you're going to school. And even later on, for many people, it's definitely the way to go. So many people I found don't really know how to go about learning a language, and to go to a language class is a good place to start. The other particular area that it might be useful for is in a foreign language setting. For example, studying, let's say, English in France. So in a foreign language setting, there are far fewer opportunities to speak the language you're learning. So a language class gives you the opportunity to do that. There may be better opportunities somewhere else, like for example an online setting. The whole area of online tuition I'd like to avoid for the moment. I'll look at that at another time. So just stay with language classes and language courses and such. I guess before I start I should say that it's hard to compare all language classes, because obviously some classes are very good because of the method or the approach being used, or maybe the teacher himself has got a bit of a knack, and some classes aren't. So it's hard to compare all language classes. What I'm going to do here is extract some general things from language classes. There may be other issues, but I'm just giving a bit of a broad sketch here. So without a doubt, language classes bring benefits. So I've actually isolated 3 of them, and there may be more, but again, as I said before, I'm speaking in broad terms. So you'll see the 3 benefits that I talk about really are benefits. So the first one is that the language class can organise the language for you and the learning experiences in such a way that makes your language more efficient and more effective. Learning by yourself, it's a far different situation. So with a skilled instructor and methodology or approach, your learning experience can be made much more efficient and much more effective. Clearly, opposite can happen as well. So the second clear advantage, which is really quite a passion of mine, is that language classes can help you become a better learner. And this really is a key benefit, if the language classes are done in the right way, of course. So the way that many adults learn languages has been severely affected by the way they learnt languages in schools. And many of the time these methodologies that were used were really not in the best interests of language learning. And the third advantage is that it can actually provide you with opportunities for real live language practice and language use. And again, in some situations, even in a second language setting, like for example learning English in an English-speaking country, some learners are constricted or feel constricted by the opportunities to actually use the language. So what these are 3, I believe, strong advantages to language classes. Now clearly, not all language classes are like this, and some language classes actually may do the opposite to all these 3 things. So as a language learner, you need to be very careful and very selective about the language classes you go to. Now there are 3 possible negatives to language classes as well, and these are just as important to be mindful of. So the first possible disadvantage is the language classes, the way it's conducted, can actually make you feel more dependent upon the instruction and upon the teacher. So you feel at the end of the language classes or time that you actually need the teacher, that you need the instruction more than you felt before. So it's making you more dependent. And that is not a function of who you are as a person. It's really a function of how you were taught. So if the language classes do this for you, it's a significant disadvantage. Because really, to learn a language to any kind of fluency or proficiency, you have to actually understand what it is to learn a language and be able to do it by yourself ultimately. So the second disadvantage is connected to the first, but it is slightly different, in that if you're taught in ways that actually are ineffective, then by the end of it you'll end up believing that you're a bad language learner. So I'll give you one example. So if you're taught that the way to learn languages is through drilling yourself, this will actually take you the wrong way, because it won't create creativity, it won't create proficiency. It enables you to say pat phrases, but doesn't enable you to be creative and fluent and confident in the language. So that's the danger of language classes. It can teach you in ways that are actually ineffective, and at the end of it you end up believing that you're a bad language learner, where that's not the problem. The problem is the tools you are using. So these are just a brief look at some of the advantages and disadvantages of language classes. Another time I'll look at other ways of learning languages, but for now this will give you a bit of an insight into some of the considerations you need to look for when you're choosing a language class. Many people just run to a language class thinking that, yeah, I've got a language class and I can learn the language. What they don't recognise is that by going to the wrong language class, they can actually be doing themselves more harm than good. So hopefully these few points I've covered will alert you to this and make you think more carefully about what sort of language classes you want to go to.